Hello everyone, Shadefyre here, and today I'm taking a first impressions look at Reciever, another game jam game, made for a 7-day FPS challenge game jam, made by a little company called Wolfire Games. This game was designed to kind of create an FPS with more realistic gun handling mechanics than your typical FPS. So, you have to worry about stuff like your safety, ejecting spent magazines, stuff like that. So, when you start up the game, you're kind of dumped somewhere into this very single-colored kind of world. Very distinct art style. It does look kind of simplistic, but I think it works for this. Anyhow, so you're dumped somewhere in the level. I think the level's always the same, but the actual, content of each room is different. Given a random gun, potentially given a flashlight, a random number of bullets for that gun, and a random number of magazines to put those bullets in. So, pull up our gun here. Looks like we got the 1911. First thing you want to do is hit E to eject the magazine. See how many bullets you have left. It looks like we've got about 4 shots, maybe 5. So what we want to do is holster our gun, and this brings up the bullet counter at the top to see how many extra bullets we have. Then we hit Z a couple times to load those bullets into the gun, and then we hit tilde again to unholster the gun, Z to load the magazine in, R to load, or no, V to turn off the safety, R to load a round into the slide. And now we're ready to go. If you pull up the help here, it actually tells you all of the controls relevant to your gun. You can see there's quite a few. Anyhow, the main goal of this game is to collect 11 tapes. As you can see at the top right there, 0 tapes absorbed out of 11. So it's kind of like Slender in that regard, with the 8 pages randomly scattered around. And each of the tapes is like an audio tape that gives you more of the story, though they don't actually come in the order that they're supposed to. And I think that's intentional. You gotta kind of piece it together yourself. I've never managed to get all 11 tapes in one go. The most I've ever gotten 7, and that's because just like Slender, the further you get into this, the more tapes you collect, the more enemies you have to deal with in every room. And yes, there are enemies, because after all, a gun wouldn't be much use without enemies, right? So, we're just gonna pick a direction and start heading off here, see if we can find some tapes. Gotta be careful, because you pretty much die in one hit from either of the 2 enemy types. So you want to be cautious when you enter a room. Okay, I don't see anything. Some bullets down here. That'll come in handy. Actually, while we're here, let's pull up our other magazine and load that too, so we can swap easier. Oh, shh. Don't know how it didn't see us. So this is the sentry gun, one of the 2 enemies. Basically, it spins in a circle, and if you get in front of it, it will detect you and shoot you. So if we can just hit one of the important parts. I guess there's a bit of a glitch with stairs. There we go. Because usually that thing would have murdered me already, just from popping my head out a little bit. Okay, those are all our spent shells. We can't pick those up. So yeah, they're pretty easy to deal with, one-on-one like that. But when you've got, 4 of them in every corner of a room, it makes it pretty hard to get past them. Take a look at this window, because they can't shoot through windows or see us through windows. You hear that sound right there, that sort of engine noise, that means there's a sentry turret directly above us. There's probably one right here? No, it's in this room. There it is. The good thing is it feels really good once you get used to the kind of complex controls. If you can remember, how to reload your gun like that without having to look at the help, it feels pretty good. And the sentry gun actually has a bunch of weak points that do different things. You can disable the motor so it doesn't rotate anymore, or take out the camera so it can't see you even if it keeps rotating. But you want to try to conserve ammunition because the further you go, the less common those little bullet piles become. Turns out there was nothing even in here, so it was a complete waste of ammo. Should probably reload. The one disadvantage to the 1911 is it only carries the 7 shots. It's actually one of 4 pistols you can spawn with when you start. Originally it was the only one, but of course they've been updating this since the original game jam. So they're adding more stuff all the time, and there is a bit of a modding community for this game as well. In fact, there's someone working on a multiplayer mod for this, as it is. Oh shit, flying drones. Okay, these are the second enemy. They don't have guns, instead they just basically fly into you with a taser. But once they see you, they're really hard to get away from. Or at least to kill. Because now they're all just sitting outside this door. I think there's like 3 or 4 in that room. Yeah. Once they fly at you like that, it's really hard to take them out because they're pretty fast and kind of crazy in their chase pattern. Alright, let's see what we got this time. Alright, we got the revolver. I like the revolver because it's fairly simple. You know, you just open the cylinder, put in as many rounds as you need, and you're ready to go. The only annoying part about the revolver is when you have to reload, you have to actually... oh, shit. Dump the chamber like that. That one was lucky. Usually you have to kind of wiggle it a couple times to get all of the rounds out. And completely useless feature, almost, is that you can spin the cylinder. Alright, so there's a drone right over here. Can't really see it here, but you can kind of see that some of the rounds are punched in the back, like the little divot. That means those are the ones you fired, and that's how you can tell. Okay, there's going to be some sentries in here. Still no tapes. Usually I found at least one by now. Is there even any reason to go in this room? Doesn't look like it. Oh, there's one.
Some receivers believe the message but are unable to hear the source themselves. We have developed a mind tech called Clear Tape to aid in your receiving. Your subconscious mind has been eroded by dangerous, addictive media. To wean you from this addiction, it will trick your mind using its conditioned response to your events by providing the correct external cues.
So yeah, the first time you collect those, they don't make a whole lot of sense. But you kind of piece them together as you collect more of them and make sense of the story. Alright, we got the Glock this time. Not a lot of bullets for it, but the magazines hold a lot of ammo. Load that in. Make sure it's not set to full auto. And we're off. So you can see it's got a little bit of the... I don't want to use the word roguelike because people get all pissy when you do. But it's a little bit like that. I mean, you lose everything when you die. You get respawned with random stuff in a random place. And then you have to randomly find your objectives. So there's kind of an infinite replayability. Of course, you might say, oh, well, it's also infinitely repetitive. But again, that's really up to opinion, right? You can feel pretty good in this game when you manage to clear out a room of 4 drones without dying horribly. Or you can feel terrible when you get killed immediately by the first drone you run into, like you tend to when you first start this game. Oh shit, what did I forget? I don't know if you saw that there, but I actually hit that with a ricochet. My shot hit the wall because I was just firing randomly, and it actually took it out. Gotcha. Alright, 3 flying drones, and 4 flying drones. For the most part, the flying drones do seem to be easier to kill than the sentry guns.
If you are listening to this tape, it means you have survived the mind kill. Previous attempts to listen to this tape would have found it blank, but now it contains immediate instructions of your difficult path forward. This is the time that we have prepared for. Take a moment now to find your firearm. Some of you will be familiar with firearms from our training camp, but more recent receivers will have focused on mind tech in order to survive the mind kill event. In either case, please take a moment to confirm that the firearm you have been issued is in working order and contains 1 full magazine. You have also been issued 1 tape deck with headphones and 2 AA batteries. Once you have checked your equipment, leave the safe cell. Keep moving and be careful. The threat will have dreamed of drones near your location.
So yeah, the story is a little wacky, especially when you don't know, what order the tapes go in. Though there is actually a tape that tells you what order the tapes go in. There's also some weird, Buddhist symbolism going on here. You'll kind of hear some chanting in the background as you collect tapes, and it'll get louder the more tapes you have. Again, I'm not really sure too much about that because I haven't collected all 11 tapes in one go. And I died. There's that weird delay where when you get hit, you've got kind of like a second to step out of the way, and then you realize, oh shit, I'm dead, and you fall over. Alright, revolver again. The revolver's a trusty old friend. Pretty sure the revolver in the 1911 do more damage than the Glock and the Beretta. Oh, some bullets in the bathtub. Found a flashlight. Let's give this one more go, and then I think you'll have a pretty good idea of what this is. Oh, that actually missed me. Just like a real revolver, the rounds kind of stick, so you gotta wiggle it a couple times. Whew. That thing was pretty tough. I'm still not 100% on how the weak points work. Sometimes it feels like I'm shooting something and it takes it out in one shot, and sometimes it feels like that same spot doesn't do anything the second time. Yeah, I knew that was happening. Another revolver. I find sometimes with the revolver you spawn with a really large number of bullets. Let's collect this tape if this is a tape.
If you recently started receiving, you may wonder why the training tapes are so important. Over the last several decades, your media has been slowly corrupted to be used against you. By feeding your mind a constant stream of damaging ideas, your view of reality has been warped to fit into a sinister agenda. How can one tape, listened to once, possibly have an impact on the face of a lifetime of accumulated deception? It can only have the smallest effect, but even that small effect can be built on. If you listen to that tape 100 times, you may notice a difference in how you feel. If you listen to the tape 1,000 times, you will be transformed.
Well, that was kind of bullshit. Sometimes you'll actually spawn in a room like this, and there'll be an aerial drone directly above you. So that's a little unfair. Anyhow, I think that pretty much gives you the gist of what Receiver is. It's certainly better than the game I'm comparing it to conceptually, Slender. Because, well, first of all, it's not ripping off a popular internet meme for popularity. But anyhow, this is a fun little game, and I enjoy throwing myself at it even if I'm kind of terrible. So, you can pick this up for $5 off of Humble. It's not part of a Humble bundle, but it's one of those games available through the Humble service. For $5, and yeah, they're still updating it and everything, so that's neat. I look forward to seeing what some of the modding community does with this, see if they add some more guns. And I'll throw up a link in the description, because it's a little hard to track down. But anyway, yeah, this has been Receiver, and, you know, it's an interesting idea. I would like to see them try this in future games, you know, games with more complex gun interaction than just point and shoot. Especially in a multiplayer context. A multiplayer game where you have to worry about, oh shit, did I take the safety off before firing, or oh, do I have a gun jam? I gotta pull that round out first. Would be kind of interesting and kind of tense. Especially if they did it with something like DayZ, or, you know, that kind of survival game, where it's already tense to begin with, but then you gotta worry about your gun acting up. So this has been Receiver, I've been Shadefyre, and I'll see you guys next time. Remember, guns are more than just a tool. They're also a complex machine. I just shot myself in midair. Oh, jeez.